Hello small board gang, I have the brand new codexes that I'm going to be telling you all about today. If you're watching this then you are not already a premium subscriber or you're not part of the tier 3 small board gang, but this is just a short highlight reel where I go through some of the changes but not all of the changes. I'll just give you like the highlights, but if you'd like a 45-minute and 1 hour 5-minute breakdown of both these books and everything that's changed in them, then you can get the full video available that's right now just by subscribing. You can get everything. So this is just a short video. If you like the full one, then consider subscribing today to get the full unedited version. Also, if you are watching this on the day of release, which is Saturday the 3rd of October, then at 12 PM BST, so in like 2 hours if you're watching this straight away, I'm going to be running a live stream. It's going to be Space Marines versus Necrons, and you can come in and ask your own questions about the books, etc. So make sure you tune into that as well. So we've got a live battle report, a live battle with Space Marines versus Necrons at 12, and if you want the full unedited version of this video, then tune in to Hellstormwargaming.co.uk or join the small board gang right now and become tier 3, and that'll be available for you in the members only playlist. So without further ado, let's get into it. This should be a second video out today, and essentially we've done, you might notice some new stuff behind me. I've already filmed a Space Marine Codex change highlight review for Premium, but now we've got a Necron one to do as well. This is a little bit different to my normal type of review, so I'm going to be going through all of the changes and highlighting everything that's changed in the new book. There is quite a lot to get through. I've done my research once again, and there are 7 and a bit pages of notes that I've made about all of the changes that I'm going to tell you all about today. There's loads and loads of changes, and essentially I'm going to be telling you all about what's changed. So we're going to start with detachment abilities, such as Dynastic Codes. I'm going to tell you about the codes, how they've changed. I'm going to tell you about the custom codes. I'm going to tell you about the stratagems, what we've gained, what we've lost, and which ones have changed. Then I'm going to be telling you about the Cryptek Arcana. Then I'll tell you about the Warlord traits. Then I'm going to tell you about the relics. Then I'm going to tell you about the powers of Catan. Then I'm going to talk about the unique secondaries. Then I'm going to talk about the main abilities, core changes as in who's got core. And then I'm going to do like a unit change highlight, and then I'm going to be talking about points. So that's like the rundown of what the review is going to be. So this book is absolutely beautiful. It is actually physically larger than the other codexes. So if you can see, I don't actually own the Necron one, so I've used the app to check all the changes. But it's physically larger than the other books, which is kind of nice. It's got a matte finish, except for the logo, which is glossy, but a matte finish rather than glossy all over, which is nice. It's obviously got the new logo on top as well, and it's considerably smaller in terms of thickness compared to the Space Marine one, understandably. Some of the things in here that have changed, which I don't agree with, or some of the things have not changed considerably enough for 9th edition in terms of how they have for Space Marines. For example, as one example is that Space Marines have like 25 units which are core, but Necrons only have about 5 or 6, which is a little bit of a downer for Necrons, but there you go. Let's talk about the Dynastic Codes. So some of them have stayed the same, some of them have stayed the same and gained abilities, some of them have actually changed completely. So let's start with Mephrit. The Mephrit, previously it was if you're within half range, you are an extra AP on your gun. Now it does that, but it also adds 3 inches to the range of weapons, excluding pistols, -1 AP, an extra -1 AP if you're within half range, And then when their Protocol of Vengeful Stars is active, they get both. Novok is new. You essentially get +1 to charge, and also when on the turn you did charge, you get +1 AP in combat. You don't get any reroll to hits like they used to. And they get both of the Protocol of the Hungry Void directives when that's active. We've got Nephrek, which is translocation beams. It's the same essentially, but rather than just advancing, if they do advance, they cannot shoot at all, so they can't shoot assault weapons, but they automatically advance 6 still. But however, it also gives all units a 6+ invulnerable save, which is quite good. And then for those, they get the Protocol of the Sudden Storm, so they get both of those directives. We've got Nihilak, which is aggressively territorial. It's quite new, this one. All units in the detachment have objectives secured, and essentially, whilst they're within their own deployment zone, AP -1 becomes AP 0, and that's it. Both directives of the Protocol of the Eternal Guardian active. And then we've got Sautek, which is Relentless Advance. This one has changed a little bit. So now they can rapid fire at 18-inch range. They can't advance and then the weapon becomes Assault 1 or whatever it is. So now they always rapid fire at 18-inch range instead of normal rapid fire rules. And they can also re-roll the morale test. So whenever every unit takes morale, they can re-roll it. They no longer ignore the heavy penalty for moving and shooting. And they get both of the Conquering Tyrant directives. And then we've got Caesarakian, obviously a brand new faction. So that gets, each time this model with the code will lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound. On a 5+, they ignore it. And then whenever they shoot, they can re-roll 1 wound roll for each unit. And they get both of the Protocol of the Undying Legion's abilities. So, quite new one. Seems alright, I'm not sure. You get to take the Silent Kings, so that's the best thing about it. Then we have custom dynasties. So there's a lot to break down here, so I'm going to just read these out to you. But essentially you have dynastic traditions and circumstances of awakening. So you can take 1 dynastic traditions, unless you take vassal kingdom, which is essentially inherited as the Primarch. You get to choose one of the normal ones. So you can take 1 dynastic tradition and then 1 circumstance of awakening, instead of taking one of the previous abilities. So some of them are quite good, some of them are like half of one of the dynasties or the codes that you've already got. And obviously none of these will get the, when you've got this, when you use this protocol you can use both directives, none of them have that. Like 3 of the circumstances of awakening are really strong in my opinion. And then obviously you can take dynastic tradition as well as one of these abilities, such as the +1 strength with rapid fire weapons. I think they're really good. So then we have chapter approved rules. So they have new secondaries. So Space Marines have new secondaries as well. And essentially you have 3 secondaries to choose from, but you can only choose 1 per game. So you can't replace them all with Necron secondaries. You can only take 1. We have 1 for No Mercy, No Respite. We have 1 Battlefield Supremacy. And we have 1 Shadow Operations. So No Mercy, No Respite is called Code of Combat. Score 3 victory points at the end of the battle for each enemy unit that was destroyed by Necron's Noble unit in your army. And Necron's Noble are essentially the characters. We then have... Oh, actually, I apologise. There are 4 secondaries. There is 2 Battlefield Supremacy ones. Purge the Vermin, which is the first one. Score 2 victory points at the end of the turn for each table quarter that does not have any enemy units, excluding aircraft units wholly within it. This objective cannot be scored in the first battleground. Cool, that's like reverse recon. That's amazing. The Treasures of the Aeons is the second Battlefield Supremacy. If you selected this secondary objective, then after both sides have finished deploying, your opponent selects 3 objective markers on the battlefield. Score a number of victory points for the end of your turn if you control 1 or more of those objective markers below. Score 2 points for 1 objective, 3 points for 2, and 5 points for 3. So this is actually really, really good for missions that only have like 3 objectives. So some missions only have 4, so they're going to choose the 4 that are furthest away. So you can this one can actually come up really well for the Treasures of Aeons. So then the final one, we have Ancient Machineries. If you selected this secondary objective, then after both sides have finished deploying, starting with your opponent, the players alternate selecting objective markers that are not within any player's deployment zone to be Ancient Machinery. It's machineries, not machineries. Until 3 objective markers have been selected. If there's only 1 such objective marker, then only that one objective marker is the Ancient Machinery objective marker. Necron core and Canoptek units can attempt the following action. Awaken Ancient Machinery. At the end of your movement phase, one or more Necrons core or Canoptech units from your army can start to perform this action. Each unit from around that starts to perform this action must be in range of a different objective marker. A unit cannot start this action while there are enemy units, excluding aircraft in range of the same objective marker. The action is completed at the end of your next command phase, provided that unit attempting the marker is still within range of the Ancient Machinery objective marker. And you get 3 points every time you do that. So, that again, I'm not sure. It depends what mission you're playing, but it could be quite good. It's kind of nice to have you in back pocket. Final thing we have is points. So I'm not going to sit here and read points to you, so I'll bring them up on screen right now. You can see all the big changes. We have an army-wide change of around 2.3%, because a lot of stuff stayed the same, a lot of stuff went down, a lot of stuff yiked in points, but essentially a lot of stuff changed. And also the way that they do points now, as I said at the beginning, is that the unit has all of its weapons included, and you only have to change the points depending if you're putting weapons on or changing the weapon, and that weapon is more expensive. Not an example from here, but if you've got a Land Raider and it's got twin las cannons, you don't pay extra points for swapping the weapons. It's just like, it's this cost, and then if the next weapon costs more, then you add that on top. You don't remove it, for example. So you've had some big changes. Obviously the Catan shards have had a humongous change of like 100% nearly. Like the Nightbringer is twice as many points, and the Catan shard of the Deceiver is nearly twice as many points. But then a lot of stuff has come down. For example, the Canoptech Raider down 22%. The Triarch Stalker has gone up 50%, but it's obviously got better quantum shielding now. Other things that have gone up a lot, the Heavy Destroyers, the Locust Heavy Destroyers have gone up 75%, but they're like a new unit. They're a little bit tougher than they were before. And then Destroyers have stayed the same, even though they got a big nerf. And then Tomb Blades have gone up 50%, but you don't have to pay for as many options on them anymore. About it for the main changes. Then obviously you got all the new Cryptex, etc. The Catan Shard of the Void Dragon, all the new stuff, and the Silent King. So they're some of them are quite expensive, some of them are quite cheap. Thank you very much for watching this highlight reel, guys. Obviously this is like short and sweet, quick video to show you some of the important changes that happened in the codex. But if you'd like a full breakdown of everything that's changed, I've got a 45-minute video for Space Marines, and I've got like an hour and 5-minute video for the Necrons. They're both available right now on Premium. You can do that by clicking join just down below and joining tier 3, and you can find it in our members only playlist, or there's a link in the description to both right now. If you prefer, you can also do it through our website, hellstormwargaming.co.uk. It's all PayPal secure, and you can do it through there and watch it on our website instead. So if you like the full breakdown, then you can do that. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day. And don't forget to tune into the live stream at 12 today. We've got Space Marines versus Necrons. So cheers, guys. I love you all. Have a great day. Bye bye now.